All right, good morning, everyone. So let's just wait for a minute or two so that others can also join the session, and then we will begin with Python session 2, the core stuff. Uh, is my sound, Aditi is getting an echo? Is others also getting an echo sound? Let me just see the settings. Okay, okay. All right, so let me share the screen. Okay, so can't help with vehicle sound. Okay, so let's begin with the quiz today. So I hope you must have logged into the Azure Lib LMS portal, and here you will see that this is our session 1 recording, and this is the quiz. So let's begin with the quiz. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to write the right answer in your chat, in your comment box. So, what is the maximum possible length of an identifier? Identifier. So, we have discussed this topic yesterday. What is the maximum length of an identifier or a variable name in Python? So, a lot of programming languages they restrict you to have a 128 characters or 256 character, but in Python there is no limit. So, the right answer is unlimited. So for the next question, which of the following is invalid? So underscore name, underscore underscore name, underscore underscore name, underscore underscore name, and none of the above. So which one is invalid? So first one is valid. You can have a variable name like that. You can also have double underscore, and you can also have double underscore, then the variable name, and then the double underscore. So the right answer is none of the above, though they have some special meaning that we will discuss later on when we learn about private public protected concepts. Next one is, which of the following cannot be a variable? So what you have to do, you have to write the correct answer in the chat window. Which of the following cannot be a variable? So underscore underscore init underscore in p, and the last option is a. So in the last session, I talked about keywords, and I also said that you cannot have a variable name or a keyword as a variable name. So here in is a keyword, so you cannot have a variable name in. Is name and name variables are same? So here you can see that the first variable name is name, and the second variable is also name, but it starts with capital N. So these two are not the same variable, they are different variable. Why? Because Python is case sensitive. If you write variable name like this, they will refer to a two different variables. So the right answer is false. Which of the following is a valid variable? So where at the rate, 32 var class abc underscore a underscore c. So in the first option, you can see that it has a special character, so it is not valid. And the second option, it starts with 3, so this is also not valid. And class, this is also not valid because it's a keyword. And the third option, it appears to be right because it contains alphabets and underscore, so you can have an underscore in your variable name. So the right answer is this. So like this you can do it. I will not get a score because I am working as an admin. So this is how you can solve your assignment. Now let's begin with today's session. As we discussed yesterday, we will work on Google Colab. I will open a new notebook. So here, let me screen the font size because a lot of people were complaining yesterday they were not able to view it properly. So now I hope that this is visible to you all. Now let's talk about, okay, so I'll make it a name as day 2, and I will share these notebooks also in the YouTube channel, in the description box of our videos. Now yesterday we talked about this balance equals to 100, right? And I told you about that this is a variable name and this is its value. Now what happens behind the scene when you write, okay, okay, so when we let me increase little bit more. Okay, so now when I write balance equals to 100, what happens behind the scene? So let's just quickly talk about it. So whenever you write a variable and its value, we all know that a computer has a RAM. So let's say this is my RAM. This RAM can be of any size, 512 MB or 256 MB GB, or a 16 GB or 8 GB, whatever. So this is a memory, your RAM. It is divided into blocks, right? And whenever you write something like this, a block is created for you, and in this block there is a value, and this block is referred by a variable name. So here this variable name is balance. Now there can be so many blocks. Let's say my program has hundreds of variable. It has a balance, it has a customer name, or a bank name, whatever. So many variables can be there. So that means there will be that many blocks over here. Now how you will identify? So each variable has a identifying address. We call it as an identifying address, ID. So let's say for this some random number, let's say 27836 9, some number is there. For this block also there is some number. So this is called basically an address of a variable. So here this balance, we in the memory you will get one block, and in that block you can have a 100 value, and this block can be referred by, or system refers it by its address. So here the address is this. Like we have a home, if somebody want to trace Saurabh, so what he has to do, he has to go to the address of the Saurabh. So similarly, if I want to access balance, I have to go to this address. But you don't have to worry about the address because this address is for the computer purpose, or your computer basically works on these addresses. Now how will I see the address of my variable? So if this is balance equals to 100, how can I see it? So for that you have a function called id. If I pass id balance here, and if I type the value, you will get this value. So we cannot do much about it, but it is just an address in a memory. Now what is the use? So Let's say I have a equals to 10, b equals to 10, right? And if I do address, that is id of a, and then I will do id of b like this, you will see that I am getting the same address 9793376. Why this is so? Because to save a memory, what Python does, if it see that this is the same, if it is referring to the same value, it will give the same address. That means it will not create two blocks, right? It will refer to the same block. So in this case, so let's say this is my, I have a equals to 10 and b equals to 10. What will happen? There is one block and that has some address 97 blah blah blah, and both a and b are referring to the same location or same address. So this is important concept because this is how the Python saves the memory. So instead of creating two variables or a two blocks, it is just creating one block and both the variables are referring to the same value. Why this is so? Because both has the same value 10. But what if I have a equals to 10 and b equals to, let's say, 20? Now I want to see the address. So what I will do, instead of using the different cells, I can write it in one block. So what I will do, print id of a, print id of b, and if I run this, you will get different address this time. So you will see that here I have 9793376, 9793696. So they are different values, different addresses. Why? Because this time I have different value in the memory. So this is important concept. Sometimes if if you are going for a fresher interview or a Python developer, they may ask something like that, because this is a core concept of how Python saves the memory. Now next thing is about the data types. Data types in Python. Now Python has primitive data type. So what are primitive data types? They are very basic data types that every language supports, like integer, float, boolean, and string. Right? So how we deal with these primitive data types or these data types? Because in the last session we write something like this, we write something like this, but we did not use any data type. So how can you see that? So let's say if I have written balance equals to 100 and then I return balance equals to 100 and 0.50, and after, let's say, fifth, after 300 lines of code, I want to see what is the data type of my variable, or what is the data type of this balance. So if you wanted to do this, what you have to do, you have to use this type function. So this type function basically gives you the data type of your variable. So here if I use balance equals to 100, and if I try to print the type of balance like this, and this time you will get an output as float. You will get an output as a float. Now what if I write something like this? It should be type. You will get a float. So it is saying class float. That means through type you can view the data type of your variable. Now what if I write something like this, a equals to 10, or if I write name equals to Sora, and now if I print type equals to name, you will see that it is giving you data type as str. So in Python you do not have string, you have str as a class. So your data type is basically str, that refers to a string. And what if I want to write something like is class today? So I can write boolean value. So if I write, so I have to write true. This means is class today is a variable that holds a true value. And if I try to print it, is class today, you will get a true value. And what about the type? If I try to print, the type is class today, like this. So it is giving you a bool. If I have a equals to 10, and if I try to print type of a, you will see that it is giving you an int. But what about this? If I write balance equals to val equals to some big number, and if I try to print it, now tell me what would be the value, or what would be the type of this variable, or this variable val. What you have to do, you have to type it in the comment box. What will happen to this line of code? Should it give an error or what? So if you are working in any other programming language like C or Java, it may give you an error. Why? Let's say if it's an integer, then you cannot hold this big number in an integer. So what you have to do, you have to use corresponding data type. So if you are using a big number, if you're using just 128 or 200 number, then what you have to do, you can just work on integer. And if you are holding a big variable, then you have to go for a long or a decimal or some other variable type. But here, if I try to run this, you will see that it is giving you no error, and it is printing this value. That means val can hold this big number also. And here you can see that the type is integer. And why this is happening? So reason being, in Python, there is no fixed size of a variable. Like in other programming language, you have 1 byte, or let's say integer is 4 byte or a 2 byte. So it can hold up some maximum number it can hold. If you try to put the value more than that, it will give you an error. But here it will not happen. This is the beauty of Python. You can hold a big number. You don't have to worry about data type, or it is not going to give you any kind of an error. So this is very important. You can write it like this. What about this? If I write my balance something like this, or I will write it like this. So what will happen? Just write it in the comment box. What will be the value, or what kind of a data type it is? It is integer or a float, or what is it? So if I try to run it, you will see that it is storing a value. It is not giving any error. You can, it is writing, it is the value of this balance is 23,10400. Now why this is happening? So this is basically, in a lot of countries we write value something like this: 23 comma 10 comma 400. We separate the values or its unit by comma. So here you can do that, but for instead of comma, what you have to do, you have to write underscore. In that case also, the Python will treat that variable as an integer. So you don't have to worry about, you can write it like this. And the why we use it, sometimes we have to give money, or we have to write some value where we have to separate it by comma. So in that, and we want to keep it as an integer also. So it's not like that you will convert it into a string or something like that. You can still treat it as an integer, but only thing is that you have to specify underscore in between the separation values. So 23 underscore 10 underscore 400, this is still an integer. If I write something like this, So here you can see that this you can write something like that also, but this time it is considering the variable balance as a float. So you can write it like this. So this will be treated like 23 comma 10 comma 458 as a decimal point. So you can do like that. These are very important concept, though usually you will not get it in a regular Python course or something. These are the new features, or these are the features that you usually feel they are important when you are doing programming, or when you write some project. Now, what if I have a equals to 10 and b equals to, let's say, 20.50, and if I print the type of a, and if I print the type of b, and if I print the type of a plus b. So what will be the type of a plus b? Let's see. So you can see that a is an integer, b is a float, and if you add it, the new variable that will come, or a new value, this new value will also be a float. So integer plus a float will result in a float value. What about this? If I write print type of a, print type of b, and print type of a plus b. Now we all know that a is going to be a boolean. Why? Because it holds a value true, and why v is false? Because it holds a value as a boolean. And now if you add it, you will be surprised that this is giving you a type as an integer, right? So why this is happening? So if you do any arithmetic expression in the boolean, what it will happen, it will treat it as a 1 and it will treat it as a 0, right? So 1 plus 0, this will become 1, right? So when it result basically 1, and that type it becomes integer. But that does not mean if I write a equals to 1 and b equals to 0, that does not mean that the type of a will become boolean. A will still remain the integer. So if you write a equals to 1, it will be an integer only. But if you write a equals to true, something like that, and b equals to false, and if you try to add it, it will result into an integer. But what about this? If I write 2 plus, let's say, 17. Yeah. So what you have to do, you have to write the answer that you feel in the chat window. Print true plus 17. What will be the value? You will see that the value coming is as a 18. Why this is so? Because here true is equals to 1, and 1 plus 17 will become 18. In Python, there is one more data type, primitive data type, or you can say a data type that we called as complex. So basically, complex, it may not be useful for professionals, but for academician or for the kids, it is important. So I will just show you. So how you write? Let's say a equals to 2 plus 3j, and if I print a, and if I print the type of a, you will get this as a type, as a complex. So the type of 2 plus 3j, those who are from maths background, they will know that this is a complex number, and complex number has a real and imaginary part. So 2 is a real part and 3 is the imaginary part. So you can have a complex numbers also, though I personally never used it, and so you will also not use it that often. But if you are working or if you are an academician, or if you are in school, or doing an algebra kind of thing, there you will use it. Now, what about this? I have a balance, and by mistake I have written balance as this. And if I try to write like this, now in this case, you will see that this is giving you an error. Why this is giving you an error? Because you are trying to add in string with an integer. So what you are trying to do, you are trying to add a string with an integer. And why I'm saying this is an integer? Because 100 is written in double quotes. So if something is written in double quotes, this is a string, and after that I'm adding it with a 2, which is an integer. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to add a string with an integer. This is not possible in Python. It will give you an error. So what kind of an error it is giving? It is giving can only concatenate string to string. So you can add two strings, but you cannot add a string with a integer. So like here it mentioned, you cannot add integer. So this is a big problem. So how to deal with it? Now in this case, what you have to do, you have to use a concept called type conversion or typecasting. What you have to do, you have to use type conversion or typecasting. So what is this typecasting or a type conversion? What you have to do in this case, if I have balance equals to 100 and I have something like this, so what you have to do, either you have to typecast this or you have to typecast this. So what I am going to do, I am going to typecast this into an integer, because right now it's a string. So what I will do, I will write it like this, balance, and how I'll typecast in the data which type you want to convert. So if I want to convert it into integer, I have to use int function, and here I will write in string plus. So now you can see that it is not giving an error, and if I try to print balance, this time it is going to give you a value 102. So what you have to learn from here is that, so here my value was in 100 and I converted into 100. So here it is in a string and here it becomes integer. So how you do that? For that you have to use function int, and in this function you have to pass something that is string, right? And similarly, if you want to convert it into float, you have to use float. You have to use boolean if you want to convert bool, or if you want to convert something into a string. That, let's see how. But what if I convert this 2 into a string? So how I can convert it? I can convert something like this, balance equals to 100 plus str2. So this time, instead of converting this string into integer, what I did, I converted this integer into a string and then I added it. And now if I run it, and this time, instead of getting 102, you are getting 1002, which is logically wrong. So what you have to do, you have to take care that if you are trying to evaluate a mathematical expression, they should be in integer or in a float. So if you use or in a boolean, if you try to use a string, what it will do, instead of performing a mathematical operation, it will just concatenate. That means it will just add two string and make a new string. It will not logically add it, it will just concatenate. So what is concatenation? It will just add two string a with string b. So here I have a string 100 and another string 2. So what we are doing, so here I have 100 and I created one more string 2. So this will become 102. The point to note over here is that I am using double quotes. If I eliminate double quotes, these becomes integer and the output will be 102 instead of 1002. Now let's see few variations of it. If I have something like this, and if I write int and if I try to print b, what will be the output? So what you have to do, you have to write the answer in the chat window. I have 10.5 and I try to convert it from float to integer using int function. So this is my type conversion. I'm converting float to integer. And what will be the value? So if you run it, you will see that it is giving you a value of 10 instead of 10.5, because integers will not have a decimal part. So what it will do, it will truncate or it will remove the decimal part, which is 0.5 in this case. So in this case, b will have only just 10. What if I write something like this? A equals to 10.5, b equals to int a print b. Now what will happen? Let's run it. You will see that it is giving you an error. Why this is giving you an error? Because it's a string and here you are trying to convert a string to an integer. That is not possible. So what you have to do? You have to write something like this to make it work. Like this. Now, what if I write a equals to 7 and b equals to int of a print b? Okay, answer this. What will happen? I have a equals to 7 and I am trying to convert it into integer and storing the value in b. What will be the output? So if I run it, you will see that I am going to get an error, right? So why? Because this is not an integer, it's a word, right? So it cannot be converted into, so Saurabh cannot be converted into integer. So you cannot do that. If I have a equals to, let's say, 1, and if I write something like this, so what I am trying to do, I'm trying to convert a into Boolean. So a have 1 and I'm trying to convert it into b and I'm trying to print it. So if I run it, you will see that it is giving you a value true. Why? Because it converted an integer into a Boolean into a integer. Integer into a Boolean over here. Now, if I write the same thing, but this time if I use 0, you will see that it's giving you false. But what if I write something like this? I have 20 and I am trying to convert it into bool. So this time also you will get a value true. Any value other than 0 will be treated as a true. What if I write something like this? Minus 10, or let's say minus 5. And if I run it, this time also you will get a value true. So if you try to convert any integer from any integer that is not 0 into a Boolean, it will always result into true, irrespective of whether it is negative or positive. But if its value is 0, it will give you false. Now, what if I have something like this? So you will surprise that here also it converted it into a true value. Why? Because this time it's an string. So if you have any string, let's say this, this will also result into true. And what if I just write like this? Now this time you will get a false. That means if you convert any string that has minimum one character, it will result it into true. And if it has no character, it will result into false. So where this is useful, let's say you are fetching result from something, and if you got no result, then it will or if you did not got any string, in that case it will result you false. So this is also important when you're basically dealing with data or transferring data. If you're not getting any data, it will be double quotes, and that can be converted into bool, and it will result into false. Now what if I write something like this, 10.5, it will also result into true. But here, let's say I have 10.5 like this. And if I try to convert it into bool, you will see that this time also it is giving you a value of true. So that means any float value also it will result into true. And let's try to run it like this, 0, 0.0. And this time it is returning false. So 0, 0.0 is equivalent to 0, and if you try to convert it into bool, it will result into false value. But what about this 0.5? And if I run this, as I already said, any value other than 0 will be considered as a true. So if you pause 0.5, 0.3, it will be treated as a true value. Let's say I have, so here I am writing it as a so it has some value 23E5. What will be its value? If I try to print it, you will see that it is giving you a value of this. So if you write something in exponential format, what will happen? It will return you something like this. So this is equivalent to writing 23 into 10 to the power of 5. So this will evaluate to 23 and these many zeros dot 0. So it will be a float value. Now, so this is important when, because a lot of time you will get in an if you're going for any online exam or something, you may get a value or a variable value like this 23E5 or some in an exponential format. So in this case, this is also true, because I have seen a lot of people marking it as an invalid, or it will give you an error. So it is completely fine. In Python you can write it like this also. Now if I have a equals to 10, or let's say 20, and if I try to convert it, so here I have a as an integer, and what I did, I converted into 23. You may not see the difference in the display if I print the value of a also here. So you will not see any difference, but still they are two different values because a is in integer and b is in string. And how we will know that? By writing a or by using a type function like this. So here in the first case, or a is treated as a integer and b is treated as a string. Now, in the last class we talked about how you can get the input from the user. So let's say I was talking about this. I have salary, and let's say I write enter your salary, and if you run it, it will ask you for entering the value. So let's say if I entered something like this, and if I hit enter, you will see that I got a value in salary. And how can I see it? I have to print it. Do you see that I got this value? But what about its type? Or let's say I want to give a bonus to it. Let's say I add bonus. So I will create one variable called bonus, and let's say I want to give 3000 as bonus, and whatever the salary user enters, I will add it into the add the bonus, and here I will write gross salary equals to salary plus bonus, and then I will print it. And if I print it this time, let's say I write this, and you will see that it is giving you an error. Why this is happening? Because as you know that this input will give you value in a string. So if this salary, what is the data type of this salary? If I try to find it out, I will write print type equals to salary, and if I run it, you will see that the type of this salary is a string. So this input, whenever you use this input function, it will always result in a string. And if you try to add something to this, it will result in error. So what you have to do, you have to convert it. So how I can convert? Using type conversion, I will use integer function in salary. Why? Because salary is a string, so I have to convert it into integer, and then I have to add the bonus. And how and why I can add the bonus? Because bonus is already in integer, and there is no double quotes in 3000. If I run it, and if I give the value of 23,000, and if I run it, you will see that the output is 26,000. It is not giving you an error. And why this is happening? Because we have converted the string salary into a integer, and then we are adding it. And lot of time, even now also, if I write program, lot of time I face this issue of a type conversion. We add some different data type to some other different data type. So you have to make sure that your data types are in proper format when you do any mathematical operation or any kind of operation in Python. Now, okay, now we will quickly do one short program of swapping two numbers. Though it is very basic, few of you already know, a lot of are aware of Python, but for to begin with programming, you should start with any simple problem statement. So let's try to do that. Let's say I have a desk A laptop is HP laptop, and I have desk B laptop as, let's say, Dell. And what you have to do, you have to switch, or you have to basically change the HP laptop to desk B and Dell to desk A. So what you have to do, you have to switch the laptop. So how we can do that? So what you have to do, you have to switch it. Now how we can do that? If I just assign this HP to dex, so what we did is we override the variable, right? To solve this problem, what you have to do, you have to use a temporary variable. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a temporary variable. I will put this a laptop to temporary, and then I will put a laptop to, then I will put desk a laptop to desk b laptop, and then desk b laptop to temp. So it's like I'm going to use one more variable or one more desk. I will put A's laptop desk A's laptop to temporary table, and then I will use A's laptop to the B's laptop, and now in the B's lap desk I will put the A's laptop. And now if I run it, you will see that earlier is what it was HP Dell, now it is Dell HP. So what I did, I'm trying to swap the variables. I'm trying to swap the value HP to desk B laptop and Dell to desk A laptop. How you can do that? If you just assign, you will lose a value. So for that, what you have to do, you have to use a temporary variable to do that. So this is a simple program about swapping two numbers, or not swapping two numbers. I would write it as swapping two values. So here I have two values, HP and Dell, and HP is in desk A laptop and Dell is in desk B laptop. I want to change these values. So for that, you have to use this logic. Basically, you have to use a temp variable to do that. Another program about getting name, account number, and balance from user and add 500 as bonus amount to customer's account. So what you have to do, you have to get the name of the customer, you have to get the account number, and you have to get the balance of the customer, and then you have to add 500 as a bonus to the customer's account, or you can say the account opening bonus. So how you can do that? I have name. Here I can take input, enter customer name, account number, input, enter account number, balance, input, enter balance, and what do you have to write? You have to write bonus equals to 500, and then you have to write balance equals to integer of balance plus 500, and then you have to print the details. Now what I want to print the details, so I'm going to print name, I'm going to print account number, I'm going to print the balance. And if I run it, let's say Saurabh, the account number is something, then I have balance of, let's say, 50,000, and you are getting this values. But you will see that while displaying, I'm getting values like that. And what if I want it in one line? So to make it in one line, what you can do is you can just put comma in the print statement. I will remove this part, and now if I run it, So now this time you will see that it is coming in one line. I want to display it more in a more meaningful way. So for that, I can write something like this: customer name, account number, and balance. So now this time it is coming more meaningful like this. Still, I want a comma also here after that. So what you can do, you can just use comma over here. And again, if I run it, so now this is coming like this. So it's not like you just put the print statements, try to be more meaningful. It should be user friendly. So here you can see that I can simply, by looking at this line, I can see that the customer name is Saurabh, account number is this, and balance is this. So this is how you do it. Now, this is it from my side for today. Now I am open for question. So whatever the question you have, just put it in the chat window. Okay, what if we want 16 digit of account number? You can have it. It's a string. If you are storing it in a string, you can have it. So here, if I add, let's say 16 digit, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Again 1 2 3 4. Oh, sorry, it's customer name. So Saurabh, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. 1 2 3 4 5 6. So I can have a 16 digits also. Why this is happening? Because here you can see that the input is going to give you a string. It can be of any length. So no issue. How is double quote giving comma? How is double quote giving comma? Uh, Double quote giving comma. Okay, so it is here you can see that I am putting comma before the account name and the balance, so it will be treated as a normal string. So normal string will be, it will print a normal string comma. So it is not, here you see that it is coming in a red color and here it is coming in a black color. So this is a python, this is a this comma is for Python to treat it like a separate value, but this inside the red, or its red color, is just like a normal character. It will display this character as it is. uh, how is double quote giving comma? Okay, so can we limit account number to 16 digit in account number here? Yes, Vamsi, you can do that. For that, what you have to do, you have to basically use the length function that we will talk about. So hmm, before using comma I tried concatenation, it's showing error. Okay, so what you can do is you can use concatenation also. So here I can write something like that also. I can use plus, 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 and a plus. And if I run it, some account number, some balance. So you see that in the last line it is giving you an error. Why this is an error? Because this thing is a string, this name is a string, this thing is also a string, this is also a string, but here I have changed the balance, right? Because integer plus integer is integer, so this balance is coming as an integer. So what you have to do, you have to convert this balance into a string. And now if I run it again, and you see that it is working fine. So you can use the plus also. So the difference is that between plus and if I use comma, if you use comma, what will happen here? It is giving you one space also. So after the comma, it will give you one space, right? But if you use plus, it will not give you any space. So here I don't have any space, here I don't have any space. uh, will complex data types ever be used in the field of data analytics or data science? Deepak, no, we don't use complex number anywhere in data analytics or data science. Can we apply any data validation while user input? After getting an input, you can write a validation function that we will learn when we discuss about functions in Python. Can we have multiple inputs for an input variable? What you can do is you can write a multiple variables and input function. Through that you can do that. Is data is storing in a disk or a ram? So here whatever we are writing over here, this is stored in the ram only. So the moment I stop running this program, these variables will not have any value. So the till the time I'm running this program, these variables has a value, and after that it is gone. So it is running, it is stored in a ram only, not in a disk. To store it in a disk, you have to learn file handling in Python. That also we will discuss. How is double quote giving comma, that we have discussed. Can you explain swapping function again? Okay, so let's just quickly write the swapping function like that. If I have a equals to 10 and b equals to 20, let's say 30. Here if I write a is, value of a is 20 comma, value of b is, sorry, b, here it is a, and if I run it, you will see that I'm getting value of a is 20, value of b is 30. What I want to swap it. So for that I will use c. I will put the value of a into c, and then I will put the value of b into a because I already have a in the c, and then I will put the value of c in b. And this time if I run the same line of code, if I try to print it, this time you will see that the values got swapped. So what I did, I use the value of c and I'm trying to swap the values. So value of a will be stored in c, and now a can be overwritten by b, and in place of a b, now I am putting the value for c which I have earlier saved. Uh, what if we only want 16 work clear? Working. Okay. Okay, so this is it from my side for today. Any other doubt? Can we swap numbers without using third variable? Numbers, yes, you can do that. There is a plus concept that you can search. You will quickly get two lines of a code. You have to use plus, multiply and divide operator in that case. So through that also you can do that. Very basic question that usually asked in your place. If you are fresher or if you are in final year or third year, people may ask this kind of a question. You have stored value in balance 100 while printing. You have written print b, 100. Sorry, Weber, I didn't get your question. Timestamp, I have a separate session for that, for a string, where we will learn about how to convert timestamp. Raw input, is there any swap operator? No. When we define a variable like this, then it will be considered the given values. No, it will be considered as 10, 20, 30 as a one variable. Mm. Now, that's it for today. We will again connect tomorrow with new stuffs of Python. And what you have to do, you have to like and subscribe our channel. You can put the recommendation or whatever if you like today's session, or you can write it in the chat window also if you like the today's session, or if any kind of a feedback you have. But don't forget to like and subscribe our channel so that you will get a notification about the tomorrow's session or any other thing that we upload. From time to time I may upload the Python projects, or Python new concept or new feature. So just keep subscribing the channel. Okay, so that's it from my side today. How was this session? How was the overall session? Were you able to get something new? Was it helpful? Was it bad? Any kind of input? So me and Deepak both are working, giving you these sessions for free, and we expect you, if you like our work, if you really want to appreciate our work, what you can do, you can put the recommendation, or you can, like, and or whatever you feel, you can write about us. Thank you, Anand. Thank you, Deepak. Thank you, Gaurav. Yes, thank you, Rakesh. Thank you, Venkata. So these, thank you all for those kind words. It really help us. It motivates us to do good further. Okay. Thank you, Ramita. Thank you, Deepak. Thank you, SK. Okay, so what I will do is I mean, like, you can watch the recordings on our LMS portal. I will also upload today's quiz. And there is a confusion about the assignment for yesterday. There was no assignment. There was only quiz for yesterday's session. And for today, I may upload some assignment as well along with the quiz. Okay. Thank you, Survivor. I like the name. Uh, Isubabu, thank you. What must learn keyboard shortcuts? Keyboard shortcuts, you can just go to the help menu in the Google Colab. There you will find it. There's not much about it, but yes, you can learn from there. It's Thank you, Rajesh. Thank you, Pradeep. Thank you, Arvind. Recordings can't found in labs. You can get the recordings. You need to log into LMS. If you have an issue, uh, then you can write a mail to admin@azurelib.com. Thank you. Thank you, Taposwani. Thank you, Anshuman. Thank you, Hari. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you. Okay, guys, so let's connect tomorrow. Thank you, everyone.